One Bowl Mania.
Welcome to the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. FAU Stadium. And it's a home game for the champs from Conference USA under Lane Kiffin. The Owls of Florida Atlantic don't even have to leave the nest tonight. But it's a quasi-home game for the Akron Zips, too. About a third of their roster is from South Florida. Kiffin versus Bowden tonight should be interesting. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Boca Raton alongside my partner, Kirk Morrison, former Oakland Raider. I'm Clay Matvick. It's going to be fun to get your perspective tonight. You played for Lane Kiffin back in the day. What's different for him now?
Well, I'll tell you this. 10 years ago when he was the head coach of the Raiders, thought Lane Kiffin was a hot shot coordinator, probably a little bit in over his head. And what's changed in those 10 years, I think that he's taken a different approach. He's more of a CEO now. He's not calling plays. He's really looking over the team, putting smiles on these kids' faces. And by this season, you can tell, taking them to places they've never been.
It's going to be good to get the takes from Cole Kublik, who's on the sideline tonight. He played for Terry Bowden back in the 90s at Auburn. Cole?
Clay, very similar to what Kirk said about Lane Kiffin. Terry Bowden has taken more of the CEO role as the Akron head football coach. And I think comfort is the biggest thing with Terry Bowden. Speaking to him before the game, he said, you know, Cole, being undefeated at Auburn and being the head coach at Akron, it doesn't feel any different having 115 players kneel in front of you after practice every single day when you're impacting lives. He's not looking to advance to the next job. He's happy where he is. And I can tell you from experience, he's one heck of a player's coach.
Yeah, the guys seem to like him. Lane Kiffin has already had a big day, agreeing to stay at FAU through 2027. He's going to chat with Cole when we come back to Boca Raton. Zips and Owls next.
And Florida Atlantic clinches the Conference USA Championship.
How much time do we have?
I did hire the person I thought I was hiring.
I screwed up a bunch by jumping all over the place. Singing Rocky Top all night long after we beat Florida next year. It's going to be a blast.
The Florida Gators will win 13 consecutive games.
That didn't go over very well.
If you're on fire, I wouldn't. I'm glad you were gone.
I followed Pete Carroll at USC, so that was really smart.
College football coach getting fired in an airport parking lot.
I get my ass chewings from time to time. I've learned to accept those.
Saban is unhappy and jumping all over.
The genius in coaching. Lane, welcome to FAU.
I mean, this is the bottom of the barrel. He's a speck of dust down there.
You ever been to a game? Never. First one. I'm here for Lane Kiffin.
You see the guys on the sideline congratulating Coach Kiffin because that play has his name on it.
The train is now full steam ahead here in Boca, and Lane Kiffin is with Cole.
Coach Kiffin, how will preparing for this bowl game at home impact the product we see on the field tonight?
Well, I hope it helped. You know, I don't know, but, we got to practice at our own place and our own locker room and all that. So our guys did a good job of staying focused. So we got to go out and play really well against a really good team.
We're on the eve of a historic day in college football, the first ever early signing day tomorrow. Why should any recruit come to the FAU?
Well, we hope to sign a lot of great players tomorrow, and second longest win streak in the country, a very young team, a lot of guys coming back, and I love our coaching staff, so I think it's a good place to come, and it's great weather.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. You didn't ask the last one?
Lane Kiffin, 42 years old, having a blast here in Boca Raton. We talked about the new 10-year deal today. Brought in 37 new players. Top recruiting class in Conference USA, and really in a short time has created a championship attitude. They're going to try and win a bowl game here tonight. Akron won the toss and elected to defer. By the way, the coin toss, Bobby Bowden and Howard Schnellenberger out there for it. Terrific to see both of those gentlemen here tonight. This is Jalen Young on the return off the kickoff from Nick Gasser. And a pretty good one, too, out close to the 35-yard line. And that's where the Owls are going to go to work. Jason Driscoll and this entertaining and fast offense, which averages nearly 40 points per game. Driscoll was the number 3 quarterback, but Daniel Parr was ineffective. DeAndre Johnson had some health issues. Brother Jeff played quarterback at Florida and Louisiana Tech, of course, now an injured reserve in the NFL with the Bengals. The offense really took off when he became the starter week 4, and he is Very smart. We've talked to him, an engineering major. From the 35-yard line, Driscoll throws it out in the flat. And Willie Wright with the catch. And now watch the speed. 41-yard line for the Owls. They waste no time getting over the ball.
This is 10 seconds, 14 seconds. That play will be snapped.
Driscoll. Quick fire again. This time Akron wrapping up Cameron Solomon quickly. That's going to be a pickup a yard. And it's 3rd down.
It's about efficiency for Driscoll. He's a guy that gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He's well in tune with this offense. He knows where the ball needs to go.
First carry for Devin Singletary, probably the first of many tonight. First down for Singletary, 3rd team All-American. Ulysses Gilbert makes the tackle. Driscoll, 6'2", 210 pounds. Crafty runner too when he needs to. Cameron Solomon, and just like that, the Owls across the midfield stripe.
And they're going to show you different formations. They're going to show you different shifts, different motions, just to confuse the defense. That's why they go so fast, to keep this defense of Akron on their heels.
Driscoll on the end around to Willie Wright. And he gets inside the 45-yard line to the 43, and a flag comes in.
May get a face mask in there. Anytime you've seen that head turn, that came from that far official. May tack 15 yards on here. A nice drive so far to start the game for FAU.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 9. 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
That's the defensive end, Jamal Davis, the pit transfer with the face mask penalty.
It's getting the ball in space too. That's a difficult tackle you try to make, especially get out there. There's nobody there. So you're just trying to grab cloth. You're trying to grab anything to get him down, but can't keep that hand up by the helmet. They'll get you every time. That's 15 yards for FAU.
Akron's got enough of an uphill climb tonight against this offense. Can't help them out with penalties. Jamal Davis is able to wrap up Singletary. And that's going to be a loss of a couple. So 2nd down and long. Singletary is a guy we're going to be talking a lot about tonight. Conference USA MVP. 30 total touchdowns on the year. They call him Motor. And they give him the deep handoff. Gets close to the original line of scrimmage, and that's where he's wrapped up. Good job by this defense under Chuck Amato. It's Brian Bell, the Sam linebacker, with the stop. And it's going to be hard to bring this guy down to the turf all night.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to substitute already. Ball snapped.
3rd down and 11. Sliding up in the pocket as Driscoll gets to the outside. Nowhere to run. And he is brought down short of the 25-yard line.
That's a terrific job by the Akron defense, trying to get a substitution in, being able to get Driscoll to the ground. They try to create confusion. That's what FAU tries to do. But a good job of recovering the Akron defense, forcing a 4th down situation.
And Lane Kiffin thought long and hard about it, but he's going to run Greg Joseph, the field goal kicker, out there. This is a huge win for Akron on the opening series. Kiffin absolutely hates kicking field goals.
Yeah, Chuck Amato's defense with the stop here.
44-yard attempt for Joseph, 15 of 19 on the year. Native of Boca Raton. No good. Chuck Amato's defense with the stop. Terry Bowden Zips are fired up.
All ESPN coverage is streaming live on the ESPN app. Download now and take ESPN everywhere.
71-year-old Chuck Amato. His defense. They've surrendered a lot of yards this year, but they hold the powerful FAU offense off the board. A 44-yard missed field goal on the opening series for the Owls. Manny Morgan in the first carry for the Akron Zips on their first possession. Kalen Cato Nelson. His grandfather Rudolph gave him that nickname when he was a youngster. The redshirt freshman from just down the road in Hollywood, Florida, won a couple of state championships here. FAU wanted him really bad, Kirk. Muddy turns up on the other side tonight, starting his 5th straight game, and he's matured a lot in about a month and a half.
Yeah, he's the future of Akron football. This is the quarterback that they're grooming, that they feel is going to be here for the next 3-4 seasons.
And he throws a pass across the 45-yard line that's snagged by Austin Wolf, a big veteran receiver for the Zips.
With each play, you can kind of see Cato Nelson growing and growing. That pass right there, that's a confidence booster. He completes the first one, but it's really what he can do in the running game. He is an extension of it. So not just the running backs, it's got to watch Nelson as well. But that pass play kind of gets him going early, gets this offense jump-started.
After the gain of 12, it's Manny Morgan again. And just like that, Akron is across the midfield line. Jalen Young, the strong safety, making the stop. It's a spread offense for offensive coordinator A.J. Milwee. 329 yards per game, near the bottom of the FBS in total offense, but so far so good here on this opening series for Akron.
Yeah, much different style of play. The pace is a little bit different than FAU. They slow it down a little bit, scan the defense, pick the right play.
Nelson stepping up in the pocket, finds a big seam. And he's going to have a first down. Cato Nelson is going to have to be a part of the run game tonight. When we talked to A.J. Milwee this week, he said we have to count on his legs to sustain drives tonight.
I talked about him being the extension of the running game. If something's there, he's going to take it. He's going to drop back, look at his first option, go through his progressions. If it's not there, this is a young quarterback. Very happy feet. But if he can get 10 yards, he'll go grab it. Look at first down for Akron.
Play fake, rolling out. Nelson scanning, throwing, and it's underthrown. But the catch is made by A.J. Coney. The senior out of Orlando, the Weber State transfer, adjusted to the ball in flight and picks up 20 and a first down.
This is a great job by a quarterback throwing to an area. He didn't throw to the man. He threw to an area to give his receiver the opportunity to go down and get the pass. It's a good job putting that ball right where it needed to be.
Now Manny Morgan again, as Akron is knocking on the door. That's going to be a loss of 1 on that play. So second down coming up. But so far, Cato Nelson, kind of the hometown hero, returned here tonight. The moment doesn't seem too big for him.
Look, it's a different game for him. You know, family, friends, everybody here to see him. He wants to put on a show. This is the big time moment for him. And so far, this first drive, this is how he wanted to start the game.
Second down and long. Morgan right up the middle. Let's go down to Cole.
Clay, I spoke with head coach Terry Bowden about these running backs, and he said, Cole, they're just not dynamic. They don't give us many explosive plays, but they're all quality backs. They're grinders. They're guys that we're going to have to utilize throughout the course of the game to just try and grind out yards and move the chains. This team is 117th in the country in 10-plus yard rushes this season. Only 60 on the season for Akron. So this is not a running back duo that gives them a lot of explosive runs, but they're having success tonight grinding it out.
It's running back by committee for sure. It's not just one guy. They're going to have multiple guys running that ball all night long.
Trying to convert on third down. From the 23, in trouble. Nelson stepping up, and he's got a lane to the first down, and he's got it. And a handful more inside the 10-yard line. A pickup of 14 for Cato Nelson.
That's just a terrific job. I want you to look at the running back, number 9, Manny Morgan. He just got a little piece, a little block there. And that sprung Nelson to get to the outside, find a play. And look, I told you, he wants to put on a show tonight. Little juke outside, get inside. This Akron offense has looked totally different since he's taken over at quarterback. That's one of the reasons why those type of plays from Nelson.
The starter, Thomas Woodson, was suspended for violation of team rules. The offense has been in his hands since. 9th play of the drive, he slings it, and it's incomplete. That ball was tipped and nearly intercepted by Rashad Smith, the weak side linebacker. Second down and goal.
And that is a freshman mistake type right there. Trying to force something that really is not there. He thought he had it, and that's one of those plays that's open in practice. You know, that play's been there in practice. You get to the game, that window's a little bit tighter, especially those defensive linemen in there. Got to find a way to get that ball over those big trees, that defensive line of FAU.
First incompletion of the game for either quarterback. They go back to the ground game, and being swallowed up is Manny Morgan. Stephen Leggett, the defensive tackle, is jacked up after making that stop. So now 3rd down and goal to go.
When we saw Akron's defense earlier make the stop in the red zone, kind of keep FAU, hold them to a field goal. Same situation here. FAU's defense trying to make a stop down here. Going to give up yards, but you got to keep a stop, keep them out of the end zone.
Chris Kiffin, the defensive coordinator for FAU, says it's a bend without breaking type of defense. Try not to break here on the opening series for Akron. Nelson is clobbered. Hit not once but twice. Finished off for a big loss. Hunter Snyder, the 6'7" defensive end. Also Jeremiah Tolini, the D tackle, in there.
Oh, you're going to see an amazing TE game. That's the tackle going outside to inside. And it's just a tremendous stunt by that defensive line. You force the Akron offensive line to have to communicate. And if you don't communicate, that's how you get your quarterback killed. A terrific job of that defensive line working together and corralling Nelson for the big sack.
38-yard field goal attempt for Nick Gasser. No. He pushed it to the outside. Nick Gasser. Terry Bowden said our field goal kicking's been a disaster this year. No score here in Boca.
The Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. Brought to you by Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Juice. Sleep better, recover stronger. And the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back. Every purchase, everywhere.
Both teams with a potential scoring drive in their opening series, but they come up empty with missed field goals. I feel, Kirk, like the missed field goal hurts Akron more.
Yeah, because we know FAU can score in bunches. But if you're Akron, you got to make those chances. You got to take opportunities like that. You got to get points. Right now, both these defenses giving up yards, but 2 stops.
Greg Joseph, after a 9-play, 39-yard drive, missed from 44. And Nick Gasser, after a 12-play, 52-yard drive, missed from 38. So now the Owls working again. Caleb Woods, receiver. Brian Bell making the tackle. Caleb Woods suspended the first 6 games of the season. He's been their hottest receiver the last few games. They're going to try and get it to him as much as they can. Running it, throwing it to him. 2nd down at 6. Singletary. He hasn't found a big lane yet. They've got to keep him from gashing him. Chuck Amato and that run defense allowing close to 200 yards per game. Near the bottom of the FBS, but they forced another 3rd and fairly long, Kirk.
Yeah, but it's a situation in which Driscoll, he must find a way to extend the chains, move the chains. Who is going to be that guy? Who's the 3rd down weapon? To me, it's been Caleb Woods, like you mentioned, the guy who started this drive. I'm always looking for number 4. A nice little size advantage, 6'3". He's the guy I'm going to look for on 3rd down.
He's going to line up in the slot on the near side. But they go to Devin Singletary. He's going to be a couple of yards short of the 1st down line to gain. Lako and Bell combine on the stop. Interesting call there from Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator. Yeah, they're going to go for it here on 4th down. Singletary hit, spins, and gets the 1st down yardage.
Wow, that's a gutsy call there on 4th down by FAU. Going for it in your own territory. But you got to have faith in a running back that's going to get you that extra yard. That's what Singletary's been able to do all season long. Terrific job extending that play, moving the chains.
Play action. Driscoll, time to throw. Deep pass downfield. There is contact. And the FAU crowd wants a flag. They get one. Tavares Harrison knocked down by Kyron Brown, the cornerback. It was a late flag, but the flag does fly.
Yeah, I saw both feet get tangled. I don't know if that was incidental contact. I think that's something the officials are talking about right now. Was that interference or incidental contact?
That's interference. Defense, number 4. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic. 1st down.
There's your answer.
You know, sometimes you get over there and you see both the feet get tangled, but just the extension of those hands as the ball was coming in right there at the end. That's how they got Kyron Brown. I think that's a good call by the officials, seeing those hands get extended. I just saw the feet get tangled, but those hands extended. It's a big penalty on Akron, but hey, FAU, this is what they do. They take shots once per quarter, sometimes twice per quarter already, putting some pressure on the Akron defense.
Second penalty against the Zips. This is Kierith White out of the backfield making the catch. He has got speed to burn. And after the catch, he's going to have another first down for FAU. How about Lane Kiffin going for it there on fourth down, fairly deep in his own territory?
Well, he's not afraid to take chances. He's going to be aggressive. They're playing at home. They know they have an opportunity to get points. He's going to continue.
Man wide open. Down the middle. That's John Rain, the tight end, who needs to step up tonight. The leading tight end, Harrison Bryant, is out with an injury, and he's got him just outside the 20-yard line after that play of 23 yards. And that's going to be caught by Wright, but he's knocked down for a loss of a yard on the play. They snap the ball at about every 15 seconds. They waste zero time.
They force the defense to play one coverage, no substitutions. That's how you get some mistakes in that back end. Got to communicate if you're Akron down here.
White hit in the backfield, got out of a tackle, got back to the line of scrimmage, and then is finally brought down. And here comes another third down and long for FAU.
Jamal Davis, defensive end for Akron, with a nice job staying home, not looking at the motion, the bells and whistles, does his job, forces another third down here for the Akron defense, trying to get another stop.
The offense catches its breath here. Takes some time off the play clock. Man wide open. Caught at the 6 by Woods. First down, goal to go for the Owls.
I think if I get one-on-one down here by the in the red zone, I'm going to throw up the Woods as much as I can. I know Kendall Browse, offensive coordinator, definitely likes that matchup.
Driscoll rolling out. And in trouble, brought down at the 9-yard line. Good pursuit there by the Akron defense, led by Jordan George, the strong safety.
This is one of the negatives on a spread, fast-paced offense. You get down here with that 10-yard line, the field is now condensed. So you're not a lot of room for those plays to work. This is where Akron can now do a little bit more pressure. He can play up at the line of scrimmage and contest those screen passes and those throws to the outside.
Eleventh play of the series. Singletary wiggling his way to the 3-yard line. Sean Featherstone, the touchdown saving tackle, quickly over the ball. Third down, goal to go from the 3. Singletary again cut off and dumped. Brought down at the 4 for a loss of 1. Ulysses Gilbert, their stud weak side linebacker, first team All-MAC, with the tackle, and they're going to go for it again. Driscoll rolling out, lobs it to the end zone, man wide open. Touchdown. Willie Wright, the true freshman. First points of the game, and they go to Florida Atlantic.
This offense is fast, 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 and you get in a situation where I think everybody in the ballpark is thinking Singletary, but then all of a sudden you get a streaking receiver in Wright, a true freshman, streaking to the back of the end zone. That's an easy pitch and catch for Driscoll.
Joseph tacks on the extra point. So their second series for the Owls bears fruit. Here, 13 plays, 79 yards on that series. It is the rookie Willie Wright with the touchdown grab. Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. We're going to have the DXL Frisco Bowl between Louisiana Tech and SMU. New SMU head coach Sonny Dykes coaching against his former team, Louisiana Tech. Now that Chad Morris is on to Arkansas. Florida Atlantic 156 points scored in the first quarter of games this year, second most in the FBS. And after a failed opening drive where they missed a 44-yard field goal attempt, they get a 13-play, 79-yard touchdown drive. Short kick was out of bounds, penalty on Greg Joseph. Not exactly sure what he was trying to accomplish there.
Lane's out here putting on a show. That was an onside kick, trying to get Akron on their heels a little bit. Remember, this is a bowl game, so you get these kids have been out here.
Kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Akron has accepted the penalty 5 yards from the spot that the ball went out of bounds. First down.
You try to get some of these guys napping a little bit. These kids been out here all week. It's a bowl game, kind of relaxed, and your job on kickoff return is wait till that ball's kicked. That time, FAU almost got one. Ball was out of bounds, but Lane Kiffin already, we've seen him go for it twice on fourth down. That onside kick, very aggressive so far to start the game.
Yeah, the 2 fourth down calls, terrific execution for the Owls to convert. But now they've given Akron great field position. The freshman Cato Nelson at quarterback. He's been good on his feet so far, a couple of yards here. Rashad Smith making the tackle. Last year's team for Florida Atlantic averaged 26 points per game, gave up 40. This year it's basically flipped. The defensive line just 24 points per game, while the offense is scoring close to 40. Now, Akron looked pretty good on the opening series, but the Zips also with a missed field goal. Complete. Got it through 35 for Sean Bickley. Just short of the first down. Third down and about a yard here in the final seconds of quarter number 1.
If FAU is going to play this zone defense the entire game, I think this gives Nelson an opportunity to scan the field, find the open window, and throw. He's had 2 successful throws like that already.
Timeout. FAU as Manny Morgan stepped back into the Wildcat position.
First timeout of the half. FAU. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So with 3 seconds to go before the end of the quarter, FAU calling a timeout. Akron's season began 1-3, including losses to Penn State and Iowa State, but they got out to a great start in the MAC. Then November 7th, quarterback Thomas Woodson was suspended, and Cato Nelson was given control of the offense, lost his first start against Miami of Ohio, but then led them to 2 big wins over Ohio and Kent State to secure the MAC East. They did not play well against Toledo in the MAC championship game. Cato Nelson, one of 29 Akron players from the state of Florida, 11 players on the roster from within just a few miles of their stadium. So this is a great bowl game for this program.
Yeah, walking around that field right before game. It's a lot of Florida guys on Akron. Happy to be home in front of mom and dad, family, friends. They're excited to be here.
Morgan running the Wildcat, plows ahead. He's got the first down and more to the 30-yard line. They're going to run out of time here in the first quarter. So we're going to flip the field. And I think that's a pretty good opening quarter, really, for Akron, to being down only a touchdown. It's 7-0 after 1 here at the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. The only score so far, touchdown catch by the freshman Willie Wright. Welcome back to the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Clay Matvick, Kirk Morrison, Cole Kubelik, and our crew back here in beautiful Boca Raton. Akron coming into this game more than 3 touchdown dogs. They're only down a touchdown, and they have the ball at the 30 of FAU to start quarter number 2. And Edwards motions out of the backfield, and Cato Nelson is crunched at the 39-yard line by Aziz Al-Shire, top tackler in Conference USA. just blasted Nelson.
We were just talking about it. If I'm Chris Kiffin, defensive coordinator for FAU, I may go more man coverage because I got a linebacker that can do everything. He's sideline to sideline, and Alshire coming through scot-free, making a play, and this is what he's done all year. The Conference USA leading tackler.
Born leader. Lane Kiffin said he bought in right away. Thrown along the sideline. Nobody for the Akron offensive line moved. Not sure why there wasn't a offside call there.
Yeah,
here's another look.
One of those weird plays. Not everybody on the same page. I think it was the center just trying to snap the ball. Thought he would get an offside penalty from a encroachment, but the officials didn't see it that way. A bad play for Akron.
Yeah, Stephen Leggett looked like he was offside. That's what the Akron center thought. And now we get penalty flags.
Prior to the snap, first charge timeout of the half, Akron.
Akron got a timeout.
This will be a 30-second
just before
timeout.
The play clock expired. Aziz Alshire is one of the best players in the country that you probably haven't heard about. We said the same thing about Devin Singletary offensively for FAU, but Alshire, the middle linebacker, top tackler in Conference USA, and he has two brothers who live with him right here on the FAU campus to ease the burden on his mother. He's been struggling financially in Tampa. He has 7 siblings. He has taken 2 of them on. And you talk about leadership.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable story for a guy. Not only his duties as a student, as a football player, but he's a leader in his own family as well. Being a father figure to his brother, and then coming out here, the guys on that defense, on this team, they look at him totally different. Much more as a big-time leader and as a coach. He's doing it on the field and off the field.
Third down and a ton. And it's incomplete. Ooh, and a targeting call most likely coming here. Andrew Sorrow lowered his shoulder, the free safety, and blasted the receiver.
Yeah, that one's
Van Edwards is trying to shake it off.
That's targeting if I ever seen it. It was just an uncalled for, a defenseless receiver. The ball's already thrown.
Following the play, personal foul, late hit with targeting, defense, number 14. 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic. First down, previous play is under further review.
I don't think this review is going to take too long. I think Sorrell's probably played his last play in this game. I mean, that's just deliberate right there. That's the helmet-to-helmet contact above the neck, above the shoulder area. I don't think this replay's got to look at it too long. I think Sorrell's played his last play in this game.
David Allman is the replay official tonight. It's a Sun Belt Conference crew. Steve Shaw, the secretary rules editor for NCAA football, is up here in the booth with us. He gave us the thumbs up. He believes this is going to be a targeting call as well. Andrew Sorrow, the junior free safety for FAU, likely going to be ejected from this game. The Owls secondary has been without Raquan Williams, starting cornerback, since midseason, out for the year with an injury. So their depth is a little bit of an issue in the back half of that FAU defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now you don't be down one more guy. And he's an important guy. Watching him on tape all week long, he's a difference maker. He's one of those hard-hitting safeties, but that time you got to pull up. Got to be a little bit smarter in that. And I think that's what Coach Kiffin is telling him there. You got to be a smarter player than that in that situation.
You talked about it, initiating contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player. When in question, it's a foul, and I don't think there's much question. Not only with the helmet, but also the forearm, fist, elbow, or shoulder. He got him good with the shoulder.
Yeah.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. However, we still will penalize the dead ball personal foul. 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
So they've taken away the targeting. It's going to be the personal foul that stands. Even Steve Shaw here a little surprised by that call. Go ahead, Steve.
So one of the things very important there, the call on the field was personal foul with targeting. So even though replay overturned this, we're still going to have a 15-yard penalty. The player's not disqualified from the game.
Why do you think it was overturned?
Well, the end zone shot looked high. The other shot, it was questionable. And replay obviously felt that there was not forcible contact to the head. But no question he was defenseless.
So Andrew Sorrow is going to stay in this football game as he and the FAU Owls get a break. Steve Shaw, Secretary Rules Editor, the NCAA College Football, is up here with us. Nelson hit and dumped. Loss. About 4 yards on the play. Second down and about 14 coming up. Chris Tooley, the cornerback, got out there.
It's a huge break for this FAU defense. And now they got to figure out how to stop Nelson. They've blitzed him a couple times, but he's going to be the main factor for Akron on offense. He's already using his legs, but it's time for him to start using his arm a little bit more. Completed a couple passes, but he's got to get the ball down the field. The 5-6 yard runs are great, but getting the ball down the field is how they're going to score points today.
Nelson keeps it on 2nd and 14. Inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. Al Shire, another tackle. Let's go down to Cole.
Well, flag comes in late on that play, Clay, but watching Brandon Council, 56, the left guard for Akron, Terry Bowden telling me that he actually forced Steven Erickson's move to center coming into the season. They didn't expect him to be a starter, didn't expect him to take that left guard position. He did. Thus, the veteran Steven Erickson was moved to center before the season. Nice job by the redshirt freshman.
Defense, number 2. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. First down, that is number 2. First unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah, Cole, and now an unsportsmanlike conduct call on Al Shire. So penalties have been the worst enemy of the Owls on this drive. Second 15-yard penalty on this series.
On the 6-yard line.
And right now, if I'm Akron on offense, I keep the ball in my quarterback's hands.
And they do. Nelson inside the 5. We're not exactly sure what Al Shire did. We're trying to figure it out on the tape machine. Might have been just talking.
Remember, there's a lot of guys from Florida on the Akron team. So these guys have grew up together. They know each other. Whether they're 5-star, 4-star recruits, they all know each other. Starting to get a little chippy down there. A lot of guys know.
On 2nd and goal, Nelson on the keeper again. He's going to bring up 3rd down.
Guys, I can tell you down here at field level, a lot of chatter, a lot of talk, some pushing and shoving after almost every play. This Akron coaching staff has been verbally trying to tell their players, back off, don't get engaged, don't try to get involved in any extracurricular activities after the snap from their sideline.
It's got to be hard for some of these guys. Like you said, they know each other so well. 11th play of this series, Akron had to settle for a field goal attempt on its last drive. And they may have to again as Morgan is corralled and brought down to the turf by Enter Nicola, the senior from Pembroke Pines.
No, I don't like it. I think you go for it here. You've already seen what Lane Kiffin and FAU have been trying to do. They want to score. They want to score touchdowns. I think threes in this game are not what you want if you're Coach Bowden. You go for it here. At least keep FAU down there in its own end zone and force them to have to go a long way to score. I think you go for it here.
Gasser missed from 38 earlier. Zips are on the board. 2 series, 3 points for Akron. They're in this ball game with heavily favored FAU and Boca. Nick Gasser field goal has Akron on the board at 7-3. Florida Atlantic.
Well, they get points there, but I still think, hey, it's a bowl game. You got to score points down here. You see the little chippiness by both teams. I think you go out there, just score points. You got to get touchdowns here because FAU can score in bunches. You get the 3, that's great, but in a bowl game, I'm trying to get 7s.
Gasser to kick off his 19-yarder moments ago. Going to get to the end zone. And FAU will start at the 25. Akron and FAU first ever meeting, and it showed at the press conference.
So we are the Akron Zips, which is our mascot, the kangaroo, which is zippy, that comes from actually a zipper that came from a boot. And
there's live kangaroos in Akron?
No, but I mean, I don't know. There's no elephants in Tuscaloosa. You know the deal. For some reason, people do crazy things. People do crazy things.
Lane Kiffin has just a knack, I'll tell you, to make people feel a little bit uncomfortable.
He's one of the great follows on Twitter, man.
He is.
He is definitely feeling at home. He's comfortable down here in Boca Raton.
You know, and for all the playful jabs and tweets about Nick Saban that we've seen in recent weeks, very grateful for what he has learned from him and some of his other mentors over the years. You can really see that he has matured as a head coach. Jason Driscoll out to the 35-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down. Alvin Davis with the tackle. They are going to move the chains. ESPN app, a fan's best friend. Stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live. 34 of 40 FBS games on the ESPN networks. That pass is incomplete for Driscoll over the middle. Off the hand of Tavares Harrison.
One thing about that app, I've been watching it all week. Last night I got to watch a little bit of the Kobe Bryant jersey retirement.
2 numbers.
And watch watch Monday Night Football. So I've been using the app a lot last couple of days, but missed opportunity there by Driscoll trying to get the ball down the field. And so far, the one thing that FAU offensively has not done is really establish Devin Singletary. Here's one of the leading rushers in all of FBS. So far, the Akron defense has done a great job of limiting him to none of those big carries.
Taking it to the outside is Kierith White. Boy, he's been more effective on the ground tonight so far than Devin Singletary. That's his 3rd carry. He's got over 20 yards rushing. Singletary 8 carries, 17 yards. Caleb Woods on that touch to the 44-yard line. Gilbert with the stop.
This is what they do. They try to make you go east and west, and once you think they're going outside, they hit you with the play over the middle. That's why they go so fast.
Driscoll pumps to the outside. It's complete. Woods, first down and more out at the 33-yard line where he's hit hard by Jordan George.
It's a nice job by Driscoll. He faked the screen. Then he tried to fake like it was going to be a post down the middle of the field. The defense overreacted, and he came back to the flat, wide open. That's the progressions by Driscoll. This is the reason why he took over as starter earlier in the year. They thought he was more effective for this offense. You're seeing why. He's able to make the progressions. He's able to check the ball down. Really in tune with this offense.
Driscoll 9 of 10. 72 yards and a touchdown pass so far. 7-3 Florida Atlantic.
I think they're trying to set the chains over there. There's the marker, the first down marker. Set it. Ready to play now.
This is great for Akron. A chance to catch their breath on defense. Here's Singletary. He hasn't been able to get untracked yet tonight. Gilbert, another stop. 2nd down. Singletary, 11 straight 100-yard rushing games.
But the one thing about his patience, he's going to find, he's going to try to bust one. It's going to come soon. But the one thing about Singletary, he is not going to give up. The very dependable, durable back. They can give it to him 20-plus times tonight.
And as we say that, there he goes for a first down. Down to the 20-yard line, a gain of 11 for Singletary.
It's the patience. He'll keep hammering it, hammering it. He's just trying to pop one.
10 for 29 so far. end around. And Akron was ready as Willie Wright is cut down in the backfield. He may have slipped, as Darian Daly's going to be credited with the tackle. Second and 13 to the outside. Wright on the screen. Penalty marker down as he trots out of bounds at the 22. A couple of markers on the field. Kevin Stein and the officials talking about it.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense, number 9. Offside, defense, number 4. Those fouls offset. Replay, second down.
Let's go down to Cole.
You mentioned a slip on that last play, Clay. There's a nice dew sort of forming on the field. There hasn't been any precipitation, no rain today. It's been a beautiful day, but there is some moisture that's gathering on this field to make it extra slick. We see it affects some guys early today.
75 degrees, 78% humidity here in Boca Raton tonight. You can see the Atlantic Ocean from the press box here. We're not that far away, so moisture in the air. Driscoll on the keeper. Lowers his shoulder to the 16-yard line. Again, Lane Kiffin talks about his feet. Not always pretty. Can be effective, but now a 3rd down and 6 coming up for the Owls.
If I'm the Owls here, I'm trying to blitz them.
Willie Wright cuts the corner. 1st down. Boy, the freshman has had an impact on this game here in the first half.
Yeah, John Locko, the defensive Mike linebacker for Akron, loses contain, and sometimes you don't know the speed until you're out there on the field. You watch it on tape all week long, and the guy looks fast, but we've seen so far the true freshman Willie Wright, just how fast he is getting to the outside, turning it up, already with a touchdown so far, but getting the ball in his hands early. We've seen Kendall Browse, offensive coordinator, definitely wants to utilize Wright tonight.
10th play of the series, Singletary. Wrapped up at the 10-yard line by Featherstone. Cole.
Clay, I think you got to stay behind the left side of this offensive line. Reggie Bain, Roman Fernandez, Antonio Woods at center. 3 all-conference offensive linemen. It's the first time in Conference USA history that 3 players from the same unit, offensive line unit, have been voted first-team all-conference.
Yeah, it's a big luxury, Cole, when you have all 5 guys start every game for you all season long. That chemistry is there on that offensive line. You can tell from Singletary, his production, a lot due to that offensive line.
Driscoll on the run, complete to the 5, and then pushed out of bounds. Cameron Solomon, 3rd leading receiver for the Owls. Pickup of 5. Davis ran him out. So 3rd down goal to go here for FAU.
I think it starts at center too, number 64, Antonio Woods. He's a guy that's played up and down that offensive line, but a Remington Award watch list guy. But I think you start right there. That's where you run the football, behind that all-conference center. See if he can get a good push up front.
Driscoll may have checked the play here.
He sees one-on-one at the bottom.
Handoff. And Singletary is brought down at the 3. Now what do Kendall Briles and Lane Kiffin decide to do here?
No, he's going to go for it. He's already shown his hand earlier in the game. It's not even a question. They've gone for it twice already on 4th down.
And they're 2 for 2.
He's got one-on-one on the outside with both wide receivers.
Driscoll's going to keep it himself, and he marches into the end zone. Touchdown, Jason Driscoll. Three for 3 on 4th down.
They worked on that play yesterday at practice, and you see Driscoll, he's effective. That's the word that Lane Kiffin used. He's effective because he can utilize his legs when needed. Everybody's keying in on Singletary down there inside the 5-yard line, but you can't forget about the quarterback. He walks in untouched. Another 4th down conversion for FAU. And this is the reason why I said you got to go for touchdowns if you're Akron, because FAU can score in a hurry.
14-3 Owls. They'll have a lot of confidence playing here at home in the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl, looking for their 10th win in a row.
The Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl, brought to you by Allstate, official protector of college football fans, and Chevy. Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs.
The Zips spending as much time at the beach as they possibly could this week here in Boca Raton. It's 28 degrees, by the way, in Akron tonight.
28? Oof. Yeah, I think I'll be right here. I'll stay right where I'm at. Boca Raton's been good to me.
Terry Bowden, brother Jeff, dad Bobby spent some time on the water on Jack Nicklaus's boat.
See, that's
the other day too.
Perks of being the head coach.
His team is in this game with FAU, ready to get the football back. Back-to-back drives with touchdowns for the Owls as Joseph bangs this one in the end zone. .538 to go before half. Bowl season rolls on Thursday night with the Bad Boy Moors Gasparilla Bowl. Temple taking on FIU at the Trop in Tampa. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. FIU finished second to FAU in Conference USA under Butch Davis. Cato Nelson throws complete out across the 40-yard line. That catch by Quadarius Smith, his first touch, but there's a penalty flag. Gain of 17 for Akron.
Ineligible man downfield. Offense. Number 59. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Left tackle Trevor Brown.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, they need to drive here if you're Akron. You need to find a way to get the ball down the field, but also you don't want to give the ball back to FAU. You look at that clock, 5:32. Try to find a way to sustain a nice little drive, get points, but definitely try to play keep away from FAU, who scored on their last couple drives.
Yeah, Terry Bowden said that over and over to us on the call about sustaining drives. Nelson slides ahead back to the original line of scrimmage to 25. Let's get an injury update with Cole.
Clay, the Akron Zips are going to have to manage this drive without running back Van Edwards. He was carted off the field. His right shoe was removed. He's been taken to the locker room for further observation.
Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, it's going to be on Manny Morgan now. Yeah, the dual threat running back combo. One guy goes down. Now it's going to be all on Morgan. Have to carry the load for Akron.
Pass is complete, and shedding a tackle is Austin Wolf. Going to be about a yard shy of the line to gain, so third down coming up. It's interesting to note too that Van Edwards was the guy who took that hard hit from Andrew Sorrow, originally called a targeting penalty. It was reversed. I don't know if that's anything to do with the injury. Considering his shoe was off, maybe not. Manny Morgan in at the Wildcat. And he keeps for another first down. That's the second time he's done that.
Yeah, it's a terrific job because he knows where he's going. He's a downhill runner. That's the one thing about Morgan. He's not going to dance in the hole. Once he gets the football, he's going full steam ahead. And that's a big first down for Akron. Not only does it keep the chains going, but it keeps the FAU offense over on the sideline. It's a big drive here for Akron. Try to get points.
Under 4 minutes to go. First down and 10. Play fake. Nelson, the catch made just shy of the 50-yard line. That's Trayvon Chapman, their #1 receiver. He started 3 games at quarterback last year. Moved to wide receiver in the spring, and he's been really good. First down, Akron.
Excellent throw by Nelson. Just the timing throw. Just put it out there, let your guy get it, make a play, extend the drive.
Morgan again. Spins. Stretch to the outside. Great pursuit by the defense. Now can they catch him? And they finally do at the 43. Great effort by Morgan to try and get away, but you can hear the jawing going on down there.
The coach used to always tell me to know when the journey's over, and sometimes you get these backs and they continue to fight, and you like that, but at some point you got to go down.
6th tackle for loss for the Owls defense under Chris Kiffin.
They've been very aggressive today, just getting off the ball.
Monty Kiffin, legendary coach, a defensive analyst for the Owls. 2nd and 14, Nelson hit and got back to the line of scrimmage. That's it, 3rd down and long. What's coming up at the half, Adnan? All right, thanks, Adnan.
10-year deal for Lane, man. That's huge, especially a game like this. A lot of people, a lot of eyeballs on FAU tonight.
And just ahead of the early signing period tomorrow, A.J. Coney the catch. And he gets to the 47-yard line of FAU. It's going to bring up 4th down. Timeout. Owls.
2nd charge timeout of the half. FAU.
So you know what the Owls are thinking. They're trying to get this ball back. Timeout here in Boca.
The College Football Playoff Semifinals, New Year's Day on ESPN.
Azeez Shire, we've already talked about the junior from Tampa and what a leader he is for the Owls. Well, now he leads the program in career tackles, 348, new school record.
Well, he's a difference maker, and he got injured earlier in the year versus Bethune-Cookman. Didn't play at Buffalo. That was the game that they lost in conference, well, right before conference started. Ever since he's been back out there, a different defense play by FAU.
Jalen Young, short return off the punt from Gasser. So quite a bit of time on the clock here for this quick-paced offense. Friday, December 29th, we're going to have the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Number 8 USC squaring off against number 5 Ohio State, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Ohio State, of course, winning the Big Ten championship, got left out of the playoff. Committee taking Alabama. And both of the schools coming from conferences that were left out of the playoffs. So something to prove here in the Cotton Bowl.
USC, former school coached by Lane Kiffin as well. They won their conference championship as well, Pac-12 champions. Got 2 good quarterbacks. J.T. Barrett along with Sam Darnold. Could this be Sam Darnold's last collegiate game?
Driscoll opening it up. Deep shot. Right. Caught by Solomon. Down to the 24-yard line. They'll hustle up over the ball.
You just throw it up and you hope your 6'2", 205-pound senior goes up and gets it. That's Solomon making a play.
Driscoll caught by Singletary. Looking to get to the outside, and he spun down at the 11, kept in bounds by Alvin Davis. With 1 minute and 4 seconds to go.
It's crazy to think that this team is in regular offense. This isn't hurry up. This is their regular offense. They're used to going at this pace.
1st down and 10 from the 11. Driscoll keeps it again, and he'll get to the 6.
Wish you could see the defense as they watch Singletary. All eyes go to Singletary, which gives those lanes for Driscoll to keep it and get some yards.
Singletary. Touchdown, Owls. Shifty moves by the sophomore running back, Devin Singletary. And that's a Conference USA record. His 30th rushing touchdown of the year, breaking Kevin Smith's old record, who is now, of course, his running backs coach here at FAU.
Here's the guy that just is never denied the end zone. When he sniffs it, when he smells it, he just knows where he needs to get to go. He's got to get there. That's Singletary. That ball in his hands, he just will never be denied. Forcing his way across the goal line.
Good use of timeouts on that last Akron series to preserve time on the clock for FAU. Not like they need a ton of it, but they're able to score a touchdown, Kirk, in 58 seconds.
Yeah, but it was because of the Akron offense stalling. You can't give this ball back to FAU. They're clicking now. They're sort of a slow start, but you've seen them over the last couple drives hitting big pass plays in the running game. A lot of it not because of Singletary. It's been the quarterback, Driscoll. He's been able to get those positive yards, keep the defense on their heels a little bit, and now this is where Singletary starts to take over the game.
Number 11 for Akron has changed jerseys and is now number 99 for the kickoff. Number 11 is now number 99.
There's his running back coach, Kevin Smith, the former UCF great. That's an embrace of a coach who understands it.
Kevin Smith, a terrific running back in his day, Cole.
Guys, he actually padded up during bowl practice. He put the helmet and shoulder pads on because they were low on backs and didn't want to beat up their regulars. Got out there and took it to the defense a little bit. Kirk, can you imagine reliving the glory days like that?
No, I let these kids have it, Cole. I'm done.
I'd be done after one play.
One play. I give you one red zone play. That's about it.
You better give me an ambulance after that play.
One red zone play through the end zone, and Akron will have 37 seconds to work with. But Devin Singletary's name is on this list, which includes Monty Ball and Barry Sanders. That's impressive.
Well, the night is still young. We're not even at half yet. He's still going to have some more carries throughout the night, but just an unbelievable season for a sophomore running back. If you didn't know who Devin Singletary was before tonight, just remember, hopefully we get 2 more seasons of this kind of production from a 5'9", 200-pound running back, one of the most durable players I've seen, and his coaching staff, that's all they rave about. One of the best practice players they've ever seen in college football.
Akron running out of time here in the first half. Morgan on that carry. Al Shire another tackle to add to his record. But FAU, you said it, a little bit of a slow start in this ball game, but they've moved it on every series. The missed field goal on the opening drive, but now 3 straight drives that have resulted in touchdowns.
You know, I go back to Akron down here inside the 5-yard line, kicking the field goal. I thought they should have went for it, and now you're down 21-3, head into half. That's a steep hill to climb.
Time's going to run out here on Akron. 21-3 here in the first half. 250 yards of offense for Lane Kiffin's Owls. Halftime here in Boca. Let's head to the studio with Adnan, Booger, and Greg.
To Capital One Bowl Mania.
Back in Boca Raton in the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl is part of Capital One Bowl Mania. 21-3 at the half. FAU scoring on 3 of its 4 possessions in the first half. Clay Matvick, Kirk Morrison, Cole Kubelik down on the sidelines and trying to cap off. It's already been a great season for FAU, winning their first conference championship. What'd you see from them in the first half?
Well, I saw a team that started off very slow, but then all of a sudden the aggressive play calling of Kendall Browse and Lane Kiffin going for it on 4th down 3 different times. They're 3 for 3 so far. I think that's what's put the points on the board, is them being aggressive on 4th down.
I thought Driscoll was really good in the first half as well.
Yeah, he was amazing. He became the star of the game so far, with Singletary, the running back, being bottled up.
Akron's going to have it here to start the second half. Just 122 yards of offense in the first for the Zips. They'll start at the 25. Let's go to Cole.
Clay, I spoke to Terry Bowden on the way back out to the field. He said, offensively, outside of not having enough possessions, the game is going about the way that they want to. He said the bottom line is, Cole, we have to get the FAU offense off the field. They haven't punted. Defense has not stepped up in critical times and got to punch the ball into the end zone. They've had multiple chances to come away with more points. He said if that happens, he feels like they're about where they thought they would be in this football game.
Yeah, your former head coach, Cole, and I think Akron missed an opportunity, Kirk, on that opening series where they didn't get that field goal. I think they could have gained some momentum there that may have carried through the balance of the first half. They just missed it. And Manny Morgan get the first touch here of the second half for Akron. Alshire yet another tackle. He's got double-digit tackles already in this football game for Florida Atlantic, and a first penalty flag.
I think we get a face mask here on Alshire. Probably a face mask.
Foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 13. 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
He had a 15-yard penalty in the first half.
Yeah, we know he's going to be all over the field, but this is one of the best linebackers, I think, in college football that no one's talking about. He's all over the field. Here's a guy that Lane Kiffin has said, look, is going to be, I think, an NFL-type linebacker. That's Alshire. But this defense for FAU, they've done a terrific job so far. They've been variable, and they varied their coverages a little bit. They just got to stop Cato Nelson, the young redshirt freshman from Akron.
6 for 9 passing. He's going to try to throw here. And that is going to be complete to Trayvon Chapman, their top receiver. Picks up 5, so it'll be second down and 5. Chris Kiffin, like Lane, his brother, and Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator, he's made the most of a fresh start here at FAU.
Yeah, been at Ole Miss the last couple seasons, and finally coming here, being at home with his brother, doing a terrific job of getting these guys to buy into his defensive scheme.
Bring up third down and short as Nelson keeps. And he's not like Lane when it comes to social media. He doesn't tweet nearly as much. In fact, he said he's even thinking of muting his brother when it comes to the Twitter thing.
He's totally different, low-key. Talked to him yesterday at practice, and look, he's just about his guys coming in, playing hard, being physical, and they're a better tackling team this year than they were last year. Definitely a new step in the right direction.
Manny Morgan on the Wildcat play. He picked up a couple of first downs in the first half for the Zips, but it looks like he's probably short here, as Alshire stepped up and kept him for picking up the first down. So fourth down near midfield for Terry Bowden Zips.
And this is a call that Terry Bowden right now, he's going to go for it because he realizes how effective the offense for FAU has been. If you're going to be aggressive, you've got to find ways to get first downs, get points on the board, keep the ball in Cato Nelson's hands, the redshirt freshman quarterback.
FAU went for it 3 times on fourth down in the first half. First time for Akron tonight. Did they get it? Oh, it's going to be close. Jalen Young, the strong safety, got up there to make the stop, but not in time. That's going to be a first down for Morgan, who's quite a weapon in that Wildcat.
Yeah, he's been very successful. He gets the ball, and he's just going downhill. Gets right behind that offensive line. Cole talked about it a little bit earlier. Brandon Council, that left guard, being able to get a nice little surge on that defensive line of FAU.
Morgan slipped a little bit. And we're going to get an FAU timeout.
Correction.
So Akron on the opening drive of the second half, trying to get back in this football game against Lane Kiffin's Owls. 12:26 to go in the third.
The previous play is under further review.
Well, FAU is getting their wish. The play is being reviewed. The Manny Morgan run, Kirk. Did he get the line to gain?
After further review, the runner's knee was down and the ball was at the 47.5-yard line. The runner was short of the line to gain by half a yard. It'll be FAU's ball. 1st and 10 at the 47.5. FAU is not charged a timeout because replay had notified us on the field.
So it wasn't an FAU challenge officially. It was a call from the booth.
Yeah, and see, Cole talked about it earlier. There's a little dew on that field, a little bit of mist, and the footing is not 100% effective. And you see that knee is down, and once that knee goes down, I think that's where they said he did not get the line to gain. So review catching that. Turns it back over to FAU.
And now FAU's offense gets it in great field position, the 47.5-yard line. Devin Singletary, who was fairly quiet in that first half, Kirk, And maybe, you know, Cole talked about it, maybe it is the traction that's part of the problem, because this guy is so good at making cuts. He has just not been unleashed tonight like he normally is. With that said, he gets to the outside here and picks up a first down. Out to the 42-yard line. Jamal Davis with the tackle. Jason Driscoll, the quarterback for FAU. Just the one incompletion, 152 yards. Passing touchdown, rushing touchdown. Singletary hasn't had to do all the heavy lifting tonight because Driscoll's been doing most of it. And now Singletary to the 34.
Yeah, coming into the game, Singletary, the third team All-American by the AP. He's the star of this game, but at the same time, I think it's Driscoll, the quarterback, that has really shown why he's the quarterback, I think, for this offense. Didn't win the camp battle, but has now been very effective. This is why this offense has been going. This is why he's been 9-0 as a starter so far this season. It's because of games like this. It's because of when he finds an opportunity, he tends to get positive plays, positive yards, only helps out the run game.
19-yard pickup by Singletary. Now to the flat. Willie Wright slips away. Look at those moves. Down to the 16-yard line. About a half-yard short of the first down. Bell the tackle.
It's guys like Willie Wright that really want to keep players like this in the state of Florida. You bring a true freshman in like Willie Wright, who is a contributor right away. Get the ball to him as soon as possible. Has already scored a touchdown tonight.
There's Singletary right up the middle. First down goal to go for these Owls, whose last loss was to Buffalo September 23rd. A team Akron beat, but these Owls are much better than they were in September, clicking on all cylinders. Singletary again to the 5.
We know coming into this game, 59 trips into the red zone. They had 55 scores. You had 3 more scores tonight. Once they get in that red zone, FAU, they punch it in. They find either the end zone, they get points, they kick field goals. You almost kind of guarantee points once they get down here in the red zone.
Saw Ulysses Gilbert and Jacoby Smith jawing. Again, a lot of Florida natives on this field tonight. Many of them grew up together. So there's some animosity. Caleb Woods. Touchdown, FAU. Driscoll with a pretty pass. And Woods got his feet in for the touchdown.
It's just a nice ball by the quarterback. They always talk about throwing it into the bucket. He's got 1 foot down. Oh, I see the ball move just a bit.
That's probably going to be incomplete if they look at this upstairs, and it will be reviewed. Every play is.
Ruling on the field is a completed catch for a touchdown. Previous play is under further review.
Caleb Woods, we talked about it a little bit ago,
yes,
Kirk, about how he's been the hottest receiver, especially the last few games. Back in the good graces of the program after being in the doghouse first part of the year. Now they're going to look at this. Did he have control? Did he complete the catch with a foot in bounds? I don't know.
Yeah, as we've seen throughout the week, especially in the NFL on Sunday, was it a catch by Jesse James, the tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Still a similar situation here on the act of the catch. Once you go down to the ground, you have to survive the ground without the ball moving. And I think in this situation here, that ball has movement. I thought he lost possession, and I think that's going to be an incomplete pass. Great effort, but I don't think he survived the ground with complete control of the football.
Called a touchdown on the field. It's got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it. Our replay official David Almond might do just that.
But it's a pretty pass from Driscoll.
Pretty pass nonetheless.
It's a pretty pass, and that play's been there for FAU all game long, one-on-one on the outside.
After further review, the receiver did not maintain control of the pass all the way to the ground. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and goal at the 5-yard line.
Last summer, Caleb Woods was involved in a off-campus scuffle, lost his scholarship. but was allowed to stay with the team as a walk-on. We were talking with Lane Kiffin, about him, and he said couldn't be prouder of the young man, how he stayed dedicated to the program despite the punishment, worked hard in practice, has earned his way back into the good graces of the team, and he has led them to what has been a great season in the receiving corps.
Yeah, he stayed grounded. Not only just a receiver, they've given it to him on reverses as well. Missed opportunity there for Woods to get a touchdown tonight. But if I'm Kendall Briles, offensive coordinator at FAU, I go right back to him.
Ninth play. Play action. Driscoll to the 2. So it'll be 4th down as DeAnthony McGriff made that catch. Got to believe that Lane Kiffin's going again. Kurt.
Yeah, it's the 4th time they've had a 4th down situation. They're going to go for it. He's already shown his hand all game long. 4th down, go for it again.
They're sending in a sub late. And now Driscoll turns around and is looking back to the sideline. Kendall Briles, the play caller. John Rain, the tight end. Touchdown. Devin Singletary spinning in to the end zone for his 2nd touchdown. 4 for 4 on 4th down. John Rain was the guy coming onto the field late before that ball was snapped. Number 30.
Rain was going to have a big day. Their normal tight end, number 40, Harrison Bryant, he's out. But watch Rain as he comes in, leads, gets a terrific block. And you don't need much room for Singletary. He finds it. When he smells that end zone, he just will not be denied.
Greg Joseph with the extra point. There was some hesitation right before that ball was snapped for Florida Atlantic's offense on 4th down. That was to get John Rain on the field, and he laid a great block.
Yeah, you get the guy in, get a terrific block, but with Singletary, you find a way to get in. Lane Kiffin, his offense putting on a show.
The Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl, brought to you by the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. What's in your wallet? And Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
It's been a great bowl experience for the FAU players too this week, even though this is a home game at FAU Stadium. A lot of fun this week here in Boca Raton, and they're having a lot of fun on the field. 28-3 Owls. Wednesday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. We're going to have the DXL Frisco Bowl between Louisiana Tech and SMU. Cortland Sutton and Trey Quinn, both 1,000-yard receivers for SMU. Sutton is declared for the draft, so we know he's going to turn pro, and he's going to be a good one. Akron going to try to get something going on offense. Milestone for Gino Auriemma tonight. Let's get an update with Adnan Burke. One of the great coaches, regardless of sport, Gino Auriemma. 9:13 to go. Let's see what this Akron offense can do. 134 yards of offense so far. The redshirt freshman, Cato Nelson, local kid, throws incomplete. Terry Bowden, the former Auburn head coach. Bowl games the last 3 years for Akron. His team went 1-11 in his first season. They've been competitive ever since. A hard time here in the second half trying to get back into this one. 8 wins a couple of years ago, won the program's first bowl game. Pass is complete. Trayvon Chapman is going to bring up third down and fairly long. Cole?
Clay, I dug up our 1996 Auburn team photograph. Pretty interesting photo. Obviously, Terry Bowden was our head coach. I was at number 61, center for Terry Bowden on that football team. But the staff, pretty impressive. You got the Texas A&M head football coach and Jimbo Fisher. Will Muschamp's on that staff. The Maryland defensive line coach, Jimmy Brumbaugh's in there. Rick Trickett, the Florida State offensive line coach, is in there. His son is the tight end coach for FAU here tonight. You also got Joe Ortiz in there, director of college scouting for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's in there on that photograph. So Bill Oliver, one of the all-time greats. And I tell you, LSU defensive line coach, who is retiring at the end of the season, a legend, Pete Jenkins, also in that photo. So a lot of coaching prowess on that 1996 Auburn staff and team.
And a lot of dynamic personalities, too.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Coach Bowden, that's why he wanted to get back into coaching, to get those kind of relationships again and give guys opportunities. Found the right place in Akron, really building this program, taking them to places they really haven't been before.
First 3 and out of the game. Akron unable to do anything on its opening possession. And second possession results in the same. And good field position here for the Owls. They're going to have it at the 41 of the Zips. 8:11 to go here in Boca Raton. All Owls at this point.
Just went viral. Power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
Kendrick Lamar at halftime of the national championship game. I know you're a big fan, Kirk.
Yeah, I'll be standing in my seat.
College football playoff at the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. Oklahoma, Georgia. It's going to be good. Willie Wright, the intended receiver. That's incomplete.
I think they may rule that as a lateral. It went backwards.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they were setting up that double pass coming out of the break.
Oklahoma, Georgia. Georgia seeking its first national championship since 1980. Of course, Oklahoma led by the Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield. That offensive line for Georgia looked really good in the SEC championship game. Second down and 18, we'll call it. After that loss of 8. This is Driscoll on the keeper. Stiff arm, gets to the outside. Still on his feet. Tiptoeing along the sideline. Gets to the 23-yard line.
Clay, I love hearing you talking offensive line up there, and I agree with you. Georgia's O-line was incredible in that SEC championship game. Lamont Galliard at center. Ben Cleveland inserted at right guard made a huge difference. They pushed that Auburn defensive line around, something that not a lot of teams have done this entire season. Auburn, for me, a top 5 defensive line in college football. I think Georgia has a chance to put up some huge numbers on the ground against Oklahoma. I'm talking 250, 300 yards rushing against the Sooners.
Wow.
I'm interested in seeing that defense of Georgia. Mel Tucker, defensive coordinator for Georgia, guy who I played for when I was in Jacksonville. That attacking defense, how do they handle or corral Baker Mayfield? That's going to be the chess match. I can't wait to see how does Mel Tucker's defense get after that Oklahoma offense.
First down, goal to go, and now it's second down, goal to go from the 3.
Kirk, I had Georgia and Missouri had some success down the field early in that football game. And Kirby Smart at halftime said to me, too deep is not deep enough. I think they'll play the same philosophy.
Willie Wright takes it in for the touchdown, FAU. That's their second touchdown catch. And Akron really struggling stopping this offense. We knew that they probably would. And it looks like they're going to go for 2 here, which is interesting.
I don't see a kicker going out there. They're about scoring points. And I think the country tonight, if you're not watching FAU, they're trying to show you we're just talking about next year. Now, if you're FAU, we're talking about Oklahoma. That's who this FAU team, that's who they open up with next season against Oklahoma. So,
I'm not exactly sure about why they're doing this, but they are staying out there to go for 2. It's Willie Wright on the receiver screen. He gets to the pylon, and he got it. And that makes it 36-3. All right, Cole, Kirk, what do you think of this?
It's Lane Kiffin. This is what you get. He's about being aggressive, scoring points. He understands he's on the national stage, too. He's on the national stage, and he's showing how great his offense is. He and Kendall Browse, they're trying to go for 50 tonight.
I agree with Kirk. I think this is a giant sales pitch to recruits across the country. First early national signing day in college football history is tomorrow. Spotlight is Lane Kiffin's tonight. He's going to take full advantage of it.
And that right there is Willie Wright. That's a true freshman. So he's telling all the recruits out there, you can come in right now to FAU and play as a true freshman like Willie Wright tonight. 2 touchdowns for the true freshman from Jacksonville, Florida.
The missed field goal from 44 yards by Greg Joseph after that 8-play opening series, but since then, Akron hasn't had an answer.
Touchdown, 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 touchdown. You got to like what Jason Driscoll, the quarterback, he's finally found the niche. Remember, he didn't win the job coming out of training camp, but he's showing you how effective he could be in this offense, spreading the ball around.
And I think that offense is a gigantic sales pitch for a lot of recruits, especially in this state. We know how popular 7-on-7 has become. Majority of high schools in the state of Florida are running some sort of spread offense. And you mentioned it, Kirk. There are young men who can come in based on the tempo that they go. They're going to need a lot of specialty positions, a lot of specialty guys, receivers, backs, hybrid tight ends, different sized receivers, guys who can play in the slot, can motion in and out, running back in the slot, can carry the ball in the backfield, out of the backfield, catch the football. And right now, he's putting the blueprint out there for all those young men who are potentially looking at making a decision. You can come here, and you can compete, and you can play, and we're going to get you the football.
You know, coaches always say, there's only one football. How can I get it to all those guys? Well, tonight, you got 10 different owls have touched the football, from the running backs to the receivers. Everybody's going to get a touch within this offense.
Hey, Kirk, when you run 100 plays in a game, a lot of guys are going to touch the football.
That's for sure.
Correct.
Austin Wolf with that catch. Bring up 2nd down and 5. See Lane Kiffin, and again, we found out maybe 3-4 hours before kick here tonight that he has come to an agreement with FAU to stay here through 2027. Not exactly sure what all of the details are. And penalty flags come in. Steven Erickson, maybe with a legal hit of some kind. He is the starting center for Akron. And we've seen it be chippy at times here tonight, guys.
A little frustration setting in on Akron as well.
Following the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 57. 15 yards from the end of the run, down count, 3rd down.
That's senior center Steven Erickson.
I agree with what Kirk said, guys. You talk about the emotions of this Akron football team. Terry Bowden told me they had over 15 high school coaches at every practice they held down here. He said, Cole, I recruit 2 geographic areas, Northeast Ohio and the state of Florida. That's it. Those are the 2 areas that we focus on. You guys talked about the number of Florida players on their roster earlier in the game. This means a lot to these coaches, and it means even more to these players, the majority of them for Akron.
Akron already had a little bit of its chip on its shoulder coming into this bowl game after being blown out in the MAC championship, too. So hasn't gone well. That play comes up empty. Quadarius Smith, big play receiver, about 10 yards behind that pass. So it's 4th down. Punting unit will come out. We talked about Akron and the 29 players on the roster from the state of Florida. Great exposure night before signing day.
Well, it's a lot
in South Florida playing.
It's a ton of competition as well. Think about it within the schools, whether it's Florida State now with Willie Taggart. You look at Florida now with Mull. They are trying to find different ways to recruit the best athletes here in Florida. And Akron, they're doing the same thing. That's why this game is so huge tonight, to keep a lot of eyeballs on your program.
Good punt by Gasser. Backs Jalen Young back inside the 30. Finds some room up the middle. Jalen Young, the junior from Belle Glade. Great speed. Gets to the 45 of Akron. This is a great campus here at FAU. It's a former World War II airline base, Air Force base, excuse me. And the team practices right now right next to an active runway. And this is video shot yesterday. Look at the private planes landing right near the practice field here at FAU.
I'll tell you, Clay, we walk out to practice, and it is jet after jet after jet. I mean, the PJs were lined up 7 deep out there. I was jealous. And Kirk made the best point of all. He said, hey, man, it's Monday morning. These guys got to get back to the office. They've been down here on vacation for the weekend. They need to get to work.
They had a great weekend in Boca. You saw those planes lined up, and you asked the players, and Lane Kiffin, and they said it's built-in crowd noise. It's built-in crowd noise for them during practice. And you talk about players with their eyes on the prize. You talk about something to shoot for, goals. Here you are running a red zone drill, and all of a sudden you got 7 private planes taking off.
The player down is Sean Featherstone. That's who they're looking to. Akron defensive back.
Yeah, he had a blind side block. Kind of got him off guard. He's trying to make the play and really took a shot there.
There's another look right in the middle of your screen.
Legal block. Those are the ones you don't like, but it's a legal block, and I thought he did a terrific job of staying right underneath the shoulder neck area. That's a great block. And I tell you that those are the ones that hurt because you don't know when they're coming. You can't brace for them. And those are the ones that hurt the most.
And here we go again with another short field for this electric offense of FAU. This is the best field position to start a series for Kendall Briles' offense. Driscoll away from center on that snap. Wow, great pass. He looked uncomfortable in the backfield, got it off to Woods, who was in the open field, but there is a penalty marker down.
I don't know about uncomfortable, Clay. That looked like a magician in the pocket there. I like the footwork by Driscoll, showing off. You know, you always see those quarterbacks do the drills. That was a quarterback drill right there by Driscoll in the pocket.
Ineligible man downfield. Number 30. Number 30 was covered up and went downfield. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
The tight end, John Rain, an illegal lineup.
I know Driscoll's upset about that one. Just watch him dance in the pocket. Just pocket awareness. He sees it, fumbled the snap, but steps up, slides, buys time, squares the shoulders, throws a terrific football. That's clinic right there. You hate to see it get called back, but that's just a nice job by a quarterback turning what could have been a negative play into a positive play, but penalty goes all for none.
37-yard play that's wiped out. Devin Singletary will get a chunk of it back. Or excuse me, Kerith White on that run to the 40-yard line. And now we got another man down. Really slow to get up. Jacoby Smith. And he is going to head to the sideline. The right guard, 42nd career game played. So Matt Murphy is going to come in to play on that O-line. And you talked about it before, guys, you know, how the O-line has been so stable this year when it was really a problem last year for the Owls, keeping people healthy. White rips off a first down run inside the 35.
I think you give a lot of credit to the offensive line. This has been the same 5 guys, the same group that have went out there for every game for FAU. And I'm telling you, Devin Singletary, he's happy about it. He understands the blocking scheme, and I think they know his running style. So I think it's very important for Devin Singletary, the big yards that he's had.
Number 6, Kerith White.
Guys, I'll tell you another cool note on this offensive line. Center Antonio Woods, a former walk-on, and Roman Fernandez. I spoke to Coach Justice, the offensive line coach, before the game. He categorized Roman Fernandez as a show-up walk-on. So not an invited walk-on. Said we didn't know who the guy was. No one recruited him, never heard of him. He just showed up and wanted to give it a shot. Now he's a starter.
Now he's first team all-conference.
Well, I think one of those reasons too is that's what Lane Kiffin has kind of been brought up on. Think about when he was at USC under Pete Carroll. What did they preach? Competition. The best player is going to go out there and play. They don't care if you're a 4-star, 3-star, 5-star. If you can go out and get the job done, you come to FAU, you're going to play. And that's why you saw so many guys. You mentioned the 37 players on this roster that was not a part of this team in 2016. You show up, you play, you're going to go out there and be a productive player for FAU.
FAU 3 of 8 on 3rd down in this football game. 4 for 4 on 4th down. Probably 4th down situation coming up. Unless they can complete this, they do not. Intended for Harrison. And so Lane Kiffin will switch it up this time. He's going to bring Driscoll off the field. And Greg Joseph will attempt a field goal. This will be a 45-yard attempt from Greg Joseph. He missed that 44-yarder on the opening series. Final game is an Owl. No good. So it stays 36-3. They should have gone for it on 4th down.
Yeah, they should have gone for it. The 2 times they didn't, they've missed field goals. So I think Lane, you can read his lips there. Yeah, we're not going to kick him the rest of the night. We're going for it.
Let's take a look at tonight's Cherry Bundy Tart playbook.
You know, when you look at the offense of FAU, it's about spreading the wealth, spreading the football around, and it starts with the running game. And look at how many different guys touch the football. It's White, it's Wright, it's Driscoll, it's Singletary. And I think it gives you the competition that when your number is called, you got to be productive. And that's what you've seen. So many different guys touching the football here, but it starts with that running game behind that outstanding offensive line.
Cato Nelson's had a rough night at quarterback, and he is going to be swallowed at the 25. Hunter Snyder, the big defensive end, got to him first. That is the 3rd time that Nelson has been sacked tonight. Florida Atlantic, over 280 rushing yards per game, 6th best in the FBS. A school record for a program that started under Howard Schnellenberger.
I think Cole, he'll tell you as well, the biggest misconception with this offense of FAU is that it's a throw it every down type of offense. It's just not that. It's a ground attack.
Lead the nation in rushes that go over 10 yards. Lead the nation. 132 carries coming into this game that had gone for 10 yards or more. Put that in perspective. They had 78 of those runs a year ago.
Wow. I think that's what Akron wants to be offensively. They want to kind of mirror what FAU's doing offensively, but they've had injuries at the running back position, and it's been kind of running back by committee at Akron. Not enough consistency.
Nelson has a lot of time in the pocket. Now running out of it. Steps up and heads to the sideline. He has been chased a lot here tonight. Rashad Smith, he's going to be credited with a sack there. And it's 4th down again.
Well, and if you're FAU defensively, they're just playing zone without the threat of the run game from Akron. Early on, you saw Nelson. He had some positive yards. He got to the outside. But now it seems like FAU has put a spy on him, not allowing him to get out of the pocket. And that's really made them one-dimensional with their attack.
3rd straight 3 and out for Akron. 4th punt for Gasser. And Jalen Young will watch it bounce. And it'll go out at the 25-yard line. Bowl season continues Thursday night with the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl. Temple taking on Florida International. Also out of Conference USA. Butch Davis and Lane Kiffin, 2 big names in coaching, took these group of 5 jobs in large part because of the talent in South Florida. And of course, tomorrow's a big day as we touched on the early signing period.
I think, are we calling it a historic day? Because we've never seen this before in college football, the early signing period in which guys are going to have an opportunity to sign with their school, get it done with, get it over with. I know, Cole, for you, I don't know when you committed, but I committed early. I had my second semester of football, second semester of high school I was getting ready for college. Now these guys signing early, we may see some more early entries, I think, into college and guys playing as true freshmen.
I'll hit you after the play, Kirk.
Driscoll handoff. And there's Singletary. First down and a little bit more.
I was a late guy. I waited down until the end of signing day, and I had an injury involved, so my situation was a little bit different. But I think I would have waited and wanted to take all my visits. I don't think I would have known going into my senior year exactly where I wanted to attend, so I would have been a guy that probably pushed past this early signing day.
Singletary again. It's going to bring up second down at about 12. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens after this early signing period, because we talked to both Lane Kiffin and Terry Bowden. They certainly don't know how the country is going to react to this. It's all kind of up in the air, and we're going to see how it goes going forward.
Well, you'll see the interest of guys who said, hey, I'm coming to the program. Well, tomorrow you kind of put up or shut up pretty much. You go out there and let them know this is where you're going to go to school at.
Big play for Caleb Woods to the 18. Alvin Davis finally brought him down. That's a gain of 43 for Woods.
And I think that's why this game is so huge for FAU, is because you get a chance the night before signing day. And if you're undecided about coming to FAU, you're starting to see what this offense can do. And you're saying, I want to stay in state. I want to stay in Florida. Why not come to the FAU?
Woods. You can see he got a hit from Davis, number 1, who got to him first, and then he got hit again, from Baggett. And that's the one that shook him up.
Yeah, another terrific throw from Driscoll, and it shows you what this offense for FAU missed out earlier in the season. Not having Woods, he's been a game changer. You know, missed the first 6 games due to suspension, but since he's returned to the team, it's just a different offense. He's a good safety blanket for Jason Driscoll. You saw him earlier and missed out on the opportunity for the touchdown, but a tall guy with big size, you throw it up, let him go get the 50-50 ball.
That's good to see. Woods is walking under his own power toward the FAU sideline. Hey, Cole, what are you hearing from coaches about this early signing period?
Clay, there are a lot of concerns. You mentioned Temple playing in their bowl game in a couple days. I spoke to Jeff Collins last week. He said, hey, we're going to be on site for our bowl game, trying to get ready to play on the early signing day. I had a chance to visit with 2 coaches for the New Mexico Bowl this past week. Mike Bobo said we missed an entire weekend of official visits. Doc Holliday said we've been off the road recruiting for an entire week. That's one of the big advantages that FAU has, being here this week, and also Akron, because they recruit Florida the way that they do. But I think the big part that no one is discussing, guys, is academically, there are a lot of players that may be academic risks whose grades for the first semester have not come in yet. And these coaches don't know whether or not to take a risk on them in this early signing day.
Yeah, it's all a big mystery how it's going to play out starting tomorrow with that early signing period. What is not a mystery is how this game is unfolding after 3 quarters. Lane Kiffin and the Owls of Florida Atlantic after 3, dominating Akron 36-3 here in Boca. There's Wilson Love, the strength coach for the Owls of FAU. I don't know if he's drinking Cherry Bundy tart cherry juice or what. Whatever he's bringing in, it's giving him quite a bit of energy.
Oh, man, he's bringing fire over there. He's letting them know, 4th quarter.
Cole, you've been listening to him throughout the night.
How are you going to be remembered? 4th quarter. Some things that I can't share on national television. The energy that this guy has is unbelievable. He was at Alabama last year, and it was the same thing. It's crazy to see.
Driscoll in the flat. There's Wright. He's already got a couple of touchdowns. And FAU's on the doorstep again. He was the first guy that the players admit that they bought into when they came to FAU, because he's such an emotional guy.
Well, Clay and I spoke to him after practice, and he said he didn't let this football team touch a weight the first 2 weeks that he was on campus, because they couldn't get organized. They didn't know how to take instruction, so they had to spend the first 2 weeks just learning how to take coaching.
Driscoll, the keeper, fooled Akron's defense. Touchdown. touchdown for Driscoll. And Wilson Love loves it.
How will you be remembered? And Jason Driscoll, I think, is telling everybody he's the quarterback for this offense. And this is all about next year, too. This is the first game for next season for FAU, because we know who they open up with come next season. It's Oklahoma. And I don't know if the Sooners want to play this type of team that as explosive as FAU is. They're only going to get better.
Jason Driscoll and the Owls with a 40-point lead here in the fourth quarter. The Cherry Bundy Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. We'll talk more about the Owls schedule when we come back. Wilson Love and life. Clay Matvick, Kirk Morrison, Cole Kublik, our crew back here at the Cherry Bundy Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. FAU's had 8 possessions tonight, 6 touchdowns, a couple of missed field goals. All 8 possessions have gone deep into Akron territory. Kind of what we expected from this offense here tonight. And really no offense to speak of for Akron. Now let's take a look at the Bowl Challenge Cup, brought to us by Progressive. It's the standings in the bowl season, and keeping in mind that the Power Fives haven't really gotten much going yet. The loss by Oregon. Other than that, all the Power 5 schools ready to get going here in the next days and a couple of weeks ahead.
Definitely want to see how these conferences stack up. You know, some teams that you want to look toward next year as well. That's what the bowl games are about. It's finishing, capping off your season, but also looking forward to a next season as well.
And Robbie Kelly is the new quarterback for the Zips. Maybe he can get something going with this offense. He takes a shot on first down, and it's incomplete. Right into the back of the defender, Shelton Lewis, intended for Quadarius Smith. You were talking about the schedule for Florida Atlantic, and it's pretty daunting.
Yeah.
You know, right out of the gate next year with Oklahoma. Akron's got a pretty tough schedule, non-conference next year too.
Yeah.
Robbie Kelly, the junior out of Springfield, Illinois, is going to take another shot. This one well incomplete, so it's third down, intended for Austin Wolf. Central Florida also on FAU's schedule those first few weeks of the season.
I mean, just going to at Oklahoma, that first game is going to be that's going to be one we're going to talk about all offseason, especially depending on how Oklahoma finishes in the playoff. Do they get to the national championship game and possibly win? But you talk about a test for both teams to see where FAU is going into the season, but also Oklahoma, it's not going to be an easy win to start the year off. They've got to play a big football game.
That was nearly picked off by James Peer. 20 interceptions on the year, most in the country for this FAU defense, and Akron's going to have to punt, and that is not going to be a fun way to start the year for Lane Kiffin, but something tells me, you know, he'll make the most of it, and he'll be tweeting out about it probably as soon as this game is over, Cole.
I'll be interested to see what they can add this offseason. You know, they had a couple transfers come in, got a couple guys back that missed the first few weeks of practice. You hit on that early, but with his first full cycle of recruiting, and obviously you can add some transfers, be interested to see what kind of new faces could be here in Boca that could compete against Oklahoma early next year.
Yeah, Lane likes what he's got coming in, and he's also going to have a lot coming back. His team gets the ball back when we come back. Cherry Bundy Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. Florida Atlantic cruising. There's still 14 and change to play. And look at the play selection tonight for Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator. Lane Kiffin certainly has a lot of say in how these plays have been called tonight. 220 yards rushing, 220 passing. New Year's Day, we'll have the college football playoff semifinals on ESPN. Number 3 Georgia, number 2 Oklahoma Kicking it off in the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual at 5 Eastern. Then, number 4 Alabama, number 1 Clemson, Superdome New Orleans for the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. It's especially, I think, looking at the linebacker situation for Alabama. They're going to have to try to contain Kelly Bryant, and saw Dylan Moses today, another injured linebacker for Alabama. It's going to be a tough situation on finding guys, enough guys to keep him bottled up. Bryant may have a big day.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, go first down.
Well, I tell you, getting Mack Wilson back will be big for that Alabama defense inside, Kirk. But Terrell Lewis on the edge could be a guy that makes a difference. Dylan Moses had done a great job, really. He got going in the Mississippi State game on probably 2 days of prep, had about 8 days of prep, started against Mercer, and then about 16 days of prep to start against Auburn in the Iron Bowl, but have been playing really good football. Depth will be a concern. You know, special teams linebackers get a lot of reps there. They'll still be down a few numbers. But I think the concern is, and you tell me if you agree here, Kirk, having played the position against that offense, it's not size, it's not speed, it's not athleticism. It's eye control, and it's reps. You have to understand, and you have to have seen it, and you have to have been there and lived it and breathed it. Maybe the extra prep helps, but that's one that you have to have experience at that position, in my opinion, to be successful.
It's not just experience. I think it's eye discipline, like you mentioned, but it's also trust and faith. I say trust and faith because you want to believe in the guy next to you that he's going to be in his spot. He's going to be in his gap. And if I take a run at the quarterback to get him down, I know I got a backside backer scraping, or I know my defensive line is going to be there. And when you mix in and out linebackers, you got guys banged up. This is where you're going to have to need Minka Fitzpatrick to be great. This is where you need your Doak Walker Award winner to be great, to come down and clean up the mess.
You know, in Clemson's offense, the last 5 games of this, the last 5 games they played, they put up a ton of points, over 200 points scored for the Clemson Tigers. There's Driscoll. Somehow he got out of there. And he's going to walk it out at the 43. So who do you guys like in that game?
Wow, that's a tough one, because this is the 3rd opportunity we've seen this team now. A new cast of characters, especially at quarterback for Clemson. But I know Clemson right now, to me, I think their defense and Brent Venables, what they're going to present. We saw them confuse Jalen Hurts last year. I'm going to go Clemson again in a game in which will be tight. But I just like Kelly Bryant and the situation that they've gotten. I think their defense is really going to help them win this game over Alabama.
I think the matchup to watch is Clemson's defensive line against the Alabama offensive line. One that has played really good football the entire season, but I think a lot of people see the Alabama rush numbers and they just believe that they're blowing people off the ball and mowing people around, and I don't believe that's the case. Alabama is out-scheming opponents more than they are physically imposing their will on opponents, and that is good news for a dominant Clemson defensive line. They're much bigger and stronger on the back end as well. I think that helps them coming down to play in the box. The tough part for me, though, Kirk, is 3.5 weeks for Jeremy Pruitt and Nick Saban to devise a plan against a quarterback who still is relatively inexperienced, even though he's gone 1 full season. It's hard to go against Nick Saban in Alabama when you give them that kind of time, but I'm with you. I think the Clemson Tigers find a way to win.
Singletary pulled down, so now it's 4th down. And they will be going for it here on 4th down and 8. Boy, this has been the money down for FAU tonight.
Yeah, 4th down. They found a different way. I think they put this one in the air.
Driscoll pumps. Still looking downfield. He's directing traffic. And he is going to run for the 1st down to the 35.
I just love his pocket awareness. His pocket presence for a guy. You know, Coach Kiffin said he came up short and called him a game manager, but he's efficient. He knows where he always knows where he's at on the field, and that's huge for a quarterback. He'll be a senior next year, so that's a great luxury for Kiffin and this offense, knowing they've got their quarterback coming back next year.
Big running lane for Singletary. Pickup of 9. Yeah, Driscoll was the #1 quarterback last year. But the sophomore Daniel Parr started the first 3 games. But Lane Kiffin, he told you and I, the best chance we felt was going to lie with Jason Driscoll once they got to Conference USA play, and that has proven to be the case. Touchdown, Singletary. It's like he's covered in Vaseline. "12 straight 100-yard rushing games now for Devin Singletary. That gives him 115 on the night."
Talking to his offensive coordinator earlier, Kendall Browse. Listen, how do you describe Devin Singletary? He said the hardest working guy I've ever seen at practice. You can give him a workload, but it's his determination. That last run was a determination run. Not willing to go down to the ground, finding ways to get to the end zone.
Ryan Rickle comes on for the extra point, the senior out of Fort Lauderdale, and that gets him to 50.
There's a 50-burger. And there's Singletary. Just a sophomore. He'll be back again next year for the FAU Owls.
The Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. Brought to you by Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Juice. Sleep better, recover stronger. Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. And Darkest Hour, now in select theaters everywhere Friday.
It's been a tough night for the Akron Zips, but they've had a lot of good times on this bowl trip to Boca Raton. They visited the VA Medical Center in West Palm Beach the other day, and the Boca Raton Regional Hospital on Sunday. It's great. These kids get a trip of a lifetime. It hasn't worked out on the scoreboard for the Zips. It has been great for Devin Singletary, even though he only had 37 yards at halftime. He has 124 yards rushing now on 26 carries, 3 touchdowns, and he is now third all-time in a single season with 32 behind Sanders and Ball.
His nickname is Motor for a reason. The kid's got a motor that just won't stop. He keeps going and going. The old Energizer Bunny. He gets the football in his hand, just won't be denied. A determined runner.
Robbie Kelly still running the offense at quarterback for this offense, which has generated 18 yards so far in the half. That's going to be a loss.
Number 8, Nick.
No, give him forward progress, excuse me, about a yard and a half. Inter Nicola, the senior defensive end. He's had a pretty busy night, been active. And this defense has done a good job really keeping Akron off balance. Just haven't been able to get anything going. And there's another sack. Ossie Rose with that hit. That's the 5th sack as you see Devin Singletary. 12 straight games over 100 yards. And he is from about 10 minutes from here in Deerfield Beach. He had offers from FSU, Miami, but he wanted to play close to home so his family could be here. And on any given home game, 50, 80 family and friends will be in attendance cheering on Devin Singletary. Sure that was the case again here tonight.
Yeah, he earned All-American honors this year. And talk about some of the great seasons that these other running backs have had. I mean, Cole, where do you rank Devin Singletary when you look at the Bryce Loves, Rashad Penny, Saquon Barkley's? Where does Singletary fit in that group of running backs?
I think he's a top 10 back in the nation, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people haven't seen him on the big stage. But same thing with Dalen Dawkins at Colorado State, the guy that I got to see Saturday. Some of these group of 5 running backs are just phenomenal. And you being a San Diego State guy, you know that. You've had a long lineage of running backs that maybe don't get enough credit. But I think this guy's a top 10 back in the nation. You look at over 1,000 yards after contact on the season. The durability is what sticks out at just 200 pounds. There's only 16 backs in the country that average over 20 attempts per game. And he's one of those running backs, and some of those names that you mentioned are on that list as well.
Well, he is getting just notoriety here tonight. 3 touchdowns for Devin Singletary. They're going to talk about the Lane Train tonight on SportsCenter, 10:30 Eastern with Bucci and Connors. We're also going to talk about LeBron as he tries to continue his triple-double streak. But they're going to focus on these Owls and much more on SportsCenter, 10:30 Eastern on ESPN. Some more all access, which quite honestly isn't hard to get around Lane Kiffin. He's pretty easy to get it from.
He's pretty open. He's a great follow on Twitter.
John Franklin, who has been a wild card in this offense for FAU. Fort Lauderdale is now in a quarterback. Let's go down to Cole, who's got more on John Franklin, who's kind of a star.
Yeah, obviously a long journey. Star of Last Chance U, documentary on Netflix at East Mississippi Community College. Started at Florida State, goes to East Mississippi, goes to Auburn, and then ends up here at FAU, and only really had played receiver for one spring at Auburn. I talked to Cody Burns, the Auburn receiver coach, about him and said, the kid is such a good athlete, I think you could put him anywhere but offensive line and he would be able to play. Has legitimate track speed. And I was surprised to hear this staff tell us what a leader that he was and he became when he first got to FAU, even not having much experience having played the position.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. Number 5 was in the area. 4th down.
With Caleb Woods and Cameron Solomon out early in camp, all of a sudden John Franklin became the veteran receiver for this group, guys. And he had to basically show the guys how to work, had to show the guys how to line up and how to become basically professional football players for their college team. And it's pretty cool to hear about a guy that's been as many places as he has and been through as much as he has, that he was able to take on that leadership role early here at FAU.
And he's done quite a bit for this team, no doubt. 6'1", 185. This is the first punt of the night for Ryan Rickle. It's a 34-yard kick, but John Franklin hasn't been involved a ton tonight. You know, he came out for that one play at quarterback. I kind of thought we might see him do a little bit more in this offense tonight. He's such a wild card. Hadn't been the case, but they've been fine just doing what they've been doing.
And I think that's one of the difficulties about Franklin is that Kendall Browse, the offensive coordinator at FAU, he said, look, he's a shiny new toy, and it's been difficult trying to figure out where does he fit most. Can you put him in the Wildcat? Can you put him at receiver? Can he be a running back? So he does so many things good, but you got so many other great players on the offense, it's hard to find where he fits at best.
So Akron takes over. And they'll run it with Chuck Turfey. That's his first touch. Hey, tune in to ESPN3 for the postgame trophy ceremony presented by Capital One. It'll be immediately following this game. And it'll be Florida Atlantic raising that trophy. It'll be their 11th win of the season. FAU, best FBS season in program history. Howard Schnellenberger started the program. Led them to 11 wins in 2003, but they were a 1AA school then. This will be the most wins as an FBS program.
Now Lane's got a reception.
Yeah. You'll be tweeting about that.
Yeah, he's got one reception.
Maybe before the game's over.
Get a statistic, get his name in the paper again.
But what a commercial this has been for this program here tonight, especially if you're an offensive player in high school right now, considering a school.
It's coming here knowing you're going to get the football. You're going to be a part of something special. That's what Lane kept talking about. It's for these young kids to see the invisible. It's about building a program, and I think it's a terrific job by Lane, is bringing the confidence and swagger. And Snoop Dogg was at practice the other day. He's speaking these guys' language. Here's Lane, one-handed.
What a season it's been for him. He's having a blast.
Oh, yeah. That's a SportsCenter top 10 highlight right there. SportsCenter top 10 by Lane Kiffin. He's been all over the place tonight.
On 4th down. Bobbled. Kelly's pass is caught right at the 50-yard line. 3-yard gain for Newman Williams, but they'll turn it over on downs. The timing of his agreement to renew at FAU, all of the details of the agreement, but we understand he's going to be here through 2027. That's about all we know right now, Cole.
I spoke to Patrick Chun, the athletic director, before the game, and he said the details as far as the buyout on both ends, the salary for coaches are all things that are still yet to be negotiated and will be determined at a later date. But like you said, having that 10 years locked up, knowing that Lane Kiffin does have that security, and this program has that kind of confidence in him and support in him, big for recruiting.
I think it's huge for recruiting.
Now they just won't take their foot off the gas as Caleb Woods runs into the 32.
No, I think it's huge for recruiting, because what it also does is announcing the 10-year extension basically says what? It tells everybody, all the recruits out there, all the rumors can go away. If you go to FAU, you've got a coach that's going to be there hopefully for 10+ years, but it does let them know that there's comfort in going to FAU knowing your coach won't leave possibly next season.
Cameron Solomon is clubbed in the backfield. Be a loss. Jamal Davis taking out some frustration for this Akron Zips team, but
so I thought it was some serious interest for Lane as far as head coaching opportunities this year. I mean, the turnaround here at FAU and all the jobs and the carousel we saw of coaches throughout the FBS, his name was in the discussion for many of those jobs.
I thought there are a lot of really good fits as well. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, maybe even Oregon were jobs that a lot of people thought he'd be a great fit for, but obviously going to be at FAU next year.
There's Gregory Howell for a couple. And even the fans in Knoxville, Tennessee had forgiven him, and they were ready to welcome him back. But he stays put, at least for now. And it would appear for the foreseeable future.
Well, and I talked about it earlier. I played for Lane when I was with the Oakland Raiders, 2007, 2008. We only had 20 games together. He was fired 4 games into his second season. But just watching the maturity of Lane, the growth of him as a head coach. He's just not the hotshot coordinator calling plays, all about me. I think it's really about these kids here. It's about this community. That's what I think he presents to FAU.
Be 4th down.
Number 16, Jason Driscoll.
Yeah, you played for a short time, but you enjoyed your time under him, you said.
I did enjoy my time under Lane because he was going to be aggressive, and he showed you tonight how aggressive he is, going for it multiple times on 4th down. He's always going to put that foot to the gas and keep it going. He's never going to play on his heels, and that's what he always expressed to the team. And I just think he was a little bit young, a little bit over his head at the time. You know, you go into a locker room with Hall of Fame players, it's a little bit hard for them to listen to a guy who
yeah, it's hard to tell Warren Sapp what to do when you're 31.
Especially, you know, think about his dad, Monty Kiffin. Guys played for his dad.
Driscoll incomplete. Almost intercepted by Denzel Butler, but Driscoll has really had a good night. 2 passing touchdowns, a couple of rushing touchdowns. You see his passing numbers. He's our Capital One player of the game. Honorable mention to Singletary, even though most of his stuff was damage done in the second half.
Well, I think Singletary had all the other awards, the all-conference. We saw the AP All-American honors. He's the big star within this offense. And I think, look, teams next year are going to gear up to try to stop number 5. But the play of Driscoll, I think, is only going to help Singletary have bigger numbers come next year.
That was the first 4th down not converted tonight for FAU. It doesn't really matter at this point. Under 4 minutes to go. Florida Atlantic, they have got 528 yards of total offense tonight. I don't know if they're going to get to 550. They've been at 550 or more 6 times this year, including those big games against North Texas, which was the team that won Conference USA West.
Yeah.
And they put up 633 against him in the Conference USA title game. It's been another impressive night tonight for this juggernaut offense. Terry Bowden, he's got a good thing going in Akron. They won the MAC East. Bowl games 2 of the last 3 years, just not their night. You know, it was interesting talking to him this week about how he got back into coaching. You know, after Auburn, he had a bad taste in his mouth, got away from it for a while, spent 10 years in broadcasting, but wanted to get back to the sidelines, and he really loves this game, and he's got a lot coming back next year too, including Cato Nelson, who will be a sophomore quarterback next year. Third and 7. Kelly is hit. Ball comes out, and it's incomplete. You, of course, played for Terry back at Auburn in the 90s, and Coach is such a likable guy. He's a player's coach.
Absolutely, and he didn't mind giving us a voice. He was always there to listen to insight, input that we might have, concerns that we might have, took care of his players, went out of his way to help his players. Guy that gave me the opportunity to play college football, and I'll never go by a chance seeing him and not tell him thank you for that. I did it again before the game today. So he's somebody that remembers all of his players. It's been an honor to know him. And you mentioned it earlier, walking away for 10 years in broadcasting, I think he told me that showed me how much I wanted to get back into it and wanted to be a coach again. And I was really just surprised at how comfortable he seemed before the game today, telling me just about Akron, being the head coach at Akron, and how much it means to him to have an influence on these kids each and every day.
I think that's important too, because here's a coach that has already won, has had an established career as a head coach, but even more so, he's not looking for the next job.
Absolutely.
And in today's college football, that's always, I think, in the minds of some of the players coming in is, I feel like, am I going to be here for the next 4 years with this head coach? It's hard to say because there's so much change within the coaching carousel, and I think that's what Bowden has brought, I think, to Akron, that I'm going to be here, fellas.
And he told me too, Kirk, he said, I've been there. I've been on the biggest stage. I've been at one of the biggest programs. I've been in the national spotlight. And he said it's just not very different to him anymore because he still has the ear of those 115 kids that practice each day when they kneel down in front of him and listen to what he has to say. He said it means just as much now as it did at any other point in his coaching career.
Not many guys are going to have that big of a smile on his face on the losing end of a 50-3 score. But that's Terry Bowden's personality. All of the Bowdens, really. Bobby here in attendance.
I think it's really been a family affair on both sides. You know, we talk about the Bowden family, but you can also look at the FAU side with Lane Kiffin, Chris Kiffin, the defensive coordinator. And, you know, yesterday me and Cole had a chance to see Monty Kiffin walking around, you know, as a defensive assistant analyst. And Monty Kiffin, they said that, I said, what is Monty Kiffin's role, you know, within this team? And he said Monty really just opens the door during meetings and just checks on everybody. Hey, how's everybody doing in here? That's the Monty Kiffin role, just putting smiles on faces as another established head coach of a football family.
Spends a lot of time coaching coaches. Willie Wright on the end around. Gets free. Gets into the secondary, and he could go. Willie Wright finally cut down at the 40-yard line. What a game it's been for the true freshman. That's a run of 40. As FAU may try to score one more here before it's all said and done.
And if you know Lane, that's on his mind. But I think he respects the guy across from him as well. I think they take their foot off the gas. It's only in the right respect of the game. But what an outstanding performance.
.571 yards of offense. Ten wins in a row. Haven't lost since September 23rd to Buffalo. The Lane train rolling right through October, November, and into the bowl win after the Conference USA title win in December. Post-game trophy ceremony presented by Capital One coming up on ESPN3. That's going to do it. As you call it, a 50 burger put up by the FAU offense. 11 wins That's tied for the most in school history, most as a member of the FBS. 50-3 over Akron in the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl.
And you see, like, these fans, these students, this is important for this community down here. Great win. FAU's on the map.
For Kirk Morrison and Cole Kublik and our crew, I'm Clay Matvick. Coming up next, SportsCenter.